Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining. Let's begin our session. We were discussing about IAM. We were discussing about the service called IAM. We understood like how to create IAM users, how to create IAM groups, how can we assign permissions to the groups as well as users. All these things we have understood in the previous sessions. Today we will be understanding like what is a role. Okay, we'll understand what is role, understanding the roles, attaching the roles, and once we are done with these things, we will start a new service called load balancer. We'll be starting a new service called load balancer. Let's see. First, let's complete this roles concept. We'll understand what is role, and we'll also understand how to attach roles and all. Then we will go for other things. Okay, we'll start a new service called load balancer. Still, we were discussing on IAM part only. So let me go to the AWS account. So I have shown you right. So earlier, yesterday, this is my root account. How can I identify whether it is my root account or not? Here it will display only my account ID. Apart from it, it won't display anything. Okay. So yesterday I've created some IAM users. If I want to look at the IAM users, I'll go for IAM dashboard. I'll go for a service called IAM. I'll see like what are the services, what are the IAM users, how many IAM users I've created yesterday. These. Okay, we can able to see IAM users, right? Three users we have created yesterday. Fine. And we also understood what is group, what is a user group, and how can we attach permissions to the groups, all those things. We also understood what is policy. We also understood what is policy. We have many policies like Amazon EC2 full access, Amazon S3 full access, Amazon IAM full access. Like that, we have a policy: read-only access, full access. Okay, S3 read-only access, S3 full access, EC2 read-only access, EC2 full access. Like that, there are many policies. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to explain you like what is a role and all. Let me go for a role. If you remember, okay, let me show you what is a role. Okay, let us understand what is a role first. Okay, so role is nothing but like which is the one which is created for having a specific permissions. Okay, so for example, we can create roles. How we are creating, how we have the policies. We have policies like in the same way we can create our own roles. We can create a role, we can assign multiple permissions, we can assign multiple policies to the role. So if you go to the policies, we can see many policies like Amazon EC2 full access, Amazon S3 full access. So these two policies can be attached, these two policies, combining these two policies, I can create a role. I can create a role by attaching these two policies, by integrating these two policies. How can I create a role? Let's see here. I'm going to create a role. So for example, it is asking whenever I'm creating a role, it is asking whether you want to create this role to allow the AWS services for AWS account, web identity. Okay, there are many things. Okay, for now, I'm going with AWS service. Okay, I'm going to create a role. I'm selecting AWS service here. You'll understand why I'm selecting AWS service. And it is asking what is the use case. The use case I'm selecting as EC2. Use case I'm selecting as EC2. Slowly, you will understand why I'm selecting all these things. I'm going for a role. Okay. I'm going for a role. It is asking whether you would like to create a role or not. Already you can see here, we have some roles, some default roles, some created roles already we have. But I'm going to create a new role. If you want to create a new role, you can select this one, create role. Select this AWS service. And it will ask for the use case. Select EC2. I'm coming down and I'll go for click on next. It is asking to add the permissions. For the role I'm creating, it is asking to attach the permissions. What I'm doing is I would like to access. Okay, I am going to provide S3 full access. Okay, I would like to provide S3 full access. This is the policy that I'm attaching. Okay, I'm creating a role and it is asking what policies you want to attach for the role. I'm attaching Amazon S3 full access. In the same way, I also wanted to attach. Okay, anyhow, for now, we will go with this only particular policy. Okay, we'll go with particular policy. I'm going to click on next. And it is asking to provide a full role name. It is asking to provide a meaningful name. So what I'm doing is I'm going to provide some name to this particular role. It's my role, S3 role, and I'm giving like, okay, my S3 role. I am giving like my S3 full access role. So this name is already existing. Okay. I'm attaching one. Okay. I'm creating a role with this name, my S3 full access one. This is the name I'm creating. This is the role I'm creating. So allow EC2 services. So I'm using, okay, it is by default, it is taking the description. We are allowing EC2 instances to call AWS services on our behalf. Anyhow, you will understand this later, what I am doing. For now, I am creating a role. If you want, you can provide some description. Otherwise, it is an optional thing. If you want, you can provide some description. Otherwise, you can directly go ahead and you can create. Before you go ahead, you try to understand we are adding only this permission, Amazon S3 full access permission. Okay, I'm creating a role. That's it. I have just created a role with a name called my S3 full access. This is the role I have created. Whenever I'm creating a role, it is asking for adding the policies. Even we can attach multiple policies also. For now, I have added only, this is the policy, right? This is the one I have added. For now, this particular role is having only one policy. You can see the permissions. Okay, you can see the permissions. This is the permission I am having. Set a permissions. You can set the permissions. Okay, this is the permission I have provided. Amazon S3 full access is the permissions I have provided. Fine. So now what I will do is I'm going to attach this role. Usually what happens is once after creating the roles, we can attach the roles. We can attach the roles to the EC2 machines. So let me go to the service called EC2. Let me go to the service called EC2. I'm going to a service called EC2. I'll create one server here. For now, I don't have any instances. We are in the North Virginia region. We don't have any instances for now. I'm going to select some instance. Okay. So what I will do is I am going to launch. I'm going to launch another instance here. So I'm providing some name like this. Okay. My server one, something like that. I'm going to launch. It is asking keep pair all these things. Make sure that you have all the things and we will launch the instance. I'm just launching I'm just launching a machine. Okay. I'm just launching an EC2 machine, which is having very less configuration, t2.micro. Let's wait until the machine comes up and running state. So now you can see the machine is running. So what I will do is now I'm going to attach the role to this EC2 machine. Whatever the role that I've created, right? Just now, I'll select this machine. I'll go to the actions. You can go to security. Okay. I'm going to the security. Under security, we have modify IAM role. Can you see here? I'm selecting this EC2 server, which is created. I'm going to the actions, go to security. Under security, you will see modify IAM role, and you can attach the role here. So what is the role that I am attaching is I'm going to attach a role called my S3 full access one. My S3 full access one is the role that I am attaching. I'm updating the role. Hope you understood what I am doing. I have created one EC2 instance. I have created a role. Two things are different. First, I have created a role and I am trying to attach the role to the EC2 instance. Why I am doing like this? It is also a part of providing access. Okay. This is also a part of providing access, understanding what are the different ways of providing access to the users. You see here, now I have attached a role to this particular server. Okay. And I'm going to sign out from here. Before I sign out, I'll try to see who are the IAM users here. Who are the IAM users and who is having the EC2 access. Let me show you. I'm going to show you these okay, we have 3 users here. And you can see who is having EC2 full access. You see, you can go to the permissions and he is having EC2 full access. Okay. Venkat is having EC2 full access. And I'm going to remove Amazon S3 full access here. Okay. He doesn't have the permission. I'm going to remove. I'm going to remove the S3 full access. You can see, right, we have IAM users here. We have 3 IAM users. Okay. Each and every one, they're having some permissions. We have some policies attached to them. If I open an IAM user called Venkat, He's having two policies attached for now. He's having Amazon EC2 full access and he's having IAM full access. Let me remove him IAM full access also. Assume that he's only having Amazon EC2 full access, meaning he can log into the AWS account. He can access EC2 machines. He can go to the EC2 servers and he can access, he can create, he can destroy all permissions he is having on Amazon EC2 service. So now he is having only one policy attached. Okay, this particular IAM user is having only, Venkat is having only one policy attached. Amazon EC2 full access is the only policy attached to him. So now I would like to log in again with Venkat credentials. Where we can see the credentials. Username is Venkat and the login. This is the account ID. And if you remember, I have saved yesterday the password, all these things. Consider this is the password for Venkat. Okay, let me log in and show you. I'm going to log in. I'm going to sign out from here. First of all, I'm signing out from here. I'm going to sign in. So this is the 12-digit ID that we have. He need to use, IAM user need to use while login. IAM user is Venkat. Password. The password is, this is the password yesterday I have provided. I'm saving that I have the password. I'm using that password to log in. Okay. This is the password I'm using. I'm just trying to sign in. Okay. With Venkat credentials. Venkat is an IAM user. You can see here at the profile section, account ID is this one. IAM user is Venkat. Account ID, IAM user. These are the two credentials that I can verify whether I am the IAM user or normal user. So now he is an IAM user. He is having only EC2 access, right? He's having only EC2 access. So when he tries to access S3, when he tries to access S3, whenever he tries to create some bucket or something, let me click on create bucket. And whenever he try to create the bucket, yes, he's going to create a new bucket, but I have removed the permissions, right? If you remember, he doesn't have permissions. What it is saying, to create a bucket, permissions are required. He doesn't have permissions, even though he is providing all these things. Okay, he's providing the bucket name. He's trying to create a bucket, but it is showing that to create a bucket, permissions are required. He doesn't have permissions to create a bucket. I have removed the permissions. For now, what I'm doing is I'm going back and I would like to go to the service called EC2. Okay, so under EC2, he's having an instance running. Okay, he's having an instance running. So now this is the instance, right? This is the instance which is up and running. Suppose if he's trying to connect to the server. Let's see whether he can able to connect to the server or not. If he connect, access denied by the EC2 instance connect. Either AWS credentials are not correct or you don't. Okay, let me connect in different way. Right? How can we connect? How can he connect? If he is having the key pair. If he is having the key pair in his local machine, he can connect in a different way, right? So can connect by using the SSH client. He is copying this site. He is copying this particular one, SSH command. He'll open the git bash. And we need to make sure whether this US East KP, this key pair should be available in his machine. Okay. Make sure that key pair is available in my machine. What is the US East? Okay. This is the place where I have that key pair. So now what I'm doing in the same folder, I'm trying to open the git bash and I'm trying to give the command over there. We see if I am able to connect. Okay. He's able to connect or not. Yes, he's able to connect. He can able to. Why? Because that key pair, if I provide the key pair to him, if I share the key pair to him, he can able to log into this particular server. Okay. Even though he is an IAM user, he's having all of EC2 full access. I have provided EC2 full access to him. That's the reason why he can able to connect. Why? Because he has logged in as an IAM user, right? So now, if he wants to access S3, he can able to access S3. Why? Because I have attached a role to this EC2 service. To this particular server, I have attached S3. So he can simply run a command called AWS S3 LS to see what are the list of buckets that he is having. Can you see here? He has directly connected to the server and he can able to access S3 service by using commands. Hope you understood what is the necessity of attaching roles to the EC2 servers. I have attached a role called S3 to this particular EC2 server, and a user is already having access to the EC2 server. Then user can able to see what are the list of buckets having in S3. He can also create a new bucket. We have seen some commands, right? Yesterday, we have seen some commands where we have to go for the commands and all. You can go for the commands and all, like you can search for AWS S3 commands. AWS S3 commands, you can go for cheat sheet or something. Okay. We have an official documentation. Please go to the official documentation. This is the command we use for creating a bucket. If Venkats wants to create a new bucket, let's see whether he can able to create a bucket or not. Why? Because I have attached a policy. I have attached a role to this. I have attached a role to the TCP user. Let me see whether Venkat can able to create bucket or not. So this is the command AWS S3. MB stands for make bucket. So bucket name we need to provide. This is the syntax we follow. My bucket 58 something. Some number I'm giving. Let me see whether he can able to create the bucket or not. Yes, he can able to create a bucket. Make bucket name it is giving. Again, if he wants to see what are the list of buckets, AWS S3 LS. Can you see here? He has created a bucket called my bucket 58961445. He can able to create a bucket. He can able to create a bucket. If he wants to delete a bucket, yes, he can able to delete a bucket. How to delete a bucket? RB, AWS S3, AWS S3. Instead of MB, we can keep RB. RB stands for remove bucket. MB stands for make bucket. RB stands for remove bucket. I'm just running a command called RB. Yes, bucket is removed. Venkat is able to create a bucket and Venkat is able to delete the buckets. He's having S3. He's having, did I provide S3 access to him? No. But I have attached a role called S3 to the CC2 server. So not only Venkat, who is having access to this particular server, not only Venkat, who is having access to this particular server, they all can access. They can able to run S3 command. They can able to access S3 service. Okay. So if I want to see let me show you. Suppose Venkat is having, this particular server is having only S3 full access. Okay. This particular server is having, or otherwise this particular server is attached with a role called S3. That's the reason why whoever is having access to this particular server, they were able to access S3 commands, all those things. But what about IAM? What about IAM? The people who log into this server, they wanted to see what are the, who are the IAM users, list of IAM users. Do you know? AWS IAM commands. AWS IAM commands to see the list of users. What is the command we use to see the list of users? AWS IAM list hyphen users. AWS IAM list hyphen users. You don't need to remember the commands. We have a documentation. We can go back and we see. The only thing is like we should know how to search and how to get the command. That's it. Okay, AWS IAM list users. When I'm running this command, you can see we are getting an error like doesn't have permissions. Doesn't have permissions to call. Okay, IAM list users. Suppose if I go back, okay, now when I'm running the AWS IAM list users, I'm not able to see, right? Let me show you how to provide access. What I'm doing, I'm going back to the server. This is the server that is running. I can attach one more role to this. Before I attach the role, I should create the role. How to create a role? Can anyone tell me how to create a role? You should go to the service called IAM. I'm going back to the service called IAM. I'm just clicking on roles. I would like to create a new role for the AWS service. Use case EC2. Why? Because why I'm selecting use case EC2 here? I am going to attach to the EC2. Since I am going to attach this role to the EC2, I am selecting the use case as EC2. Okay. Why I'm selecting the use case as EC2? It allows the AWS services like EC2, Lambda, and others to perform actions in this account. So if you, whenever a person connects to the EC2 machine, he can able to access this particular role. What is the role that we are attaching? He can able to access that particular service. So if you are still having any doubts, I will explain you. But before that, let me show you. What I'm doing is I'm selecting AWS service. Use case is EC2. Use case is EC2. And the next thing is I'm going for next. Okay. It is showing like you don't have permissions to the list IAM policy because I'm trying to add, I'm trying to create a role. I'm trying to create a role with an IAM user. IAM user cannot do anything, right? So if I want to create a role, where should I go? If I want to create a role, I'm signing out from here. If I want to create a role, how can I create a role? I can sign in by using root user email ID. I'm trying to log in with my credentials. Again, try to understand. Again, I'm telling you how to create a role under and how to attach a role to a particular service called EC2. So now what we are discussing is how can we create a role and how we are attaching that role to the EC2 service, EC2 machine, particular EC2 machine. Okay. So now you can see here. We'll go to the service called IAM. Let's go to the service called IAM. After going to the service called IAM, please go to the users, click on users. For now, we are having 3 users. Okay, roles, click on roles. How many roles we are having? There are many roles. But here some are the default roles and some are the roles that we created. My S3 full access one is the role I have created. My S3 full access one is the role I have created. I'm going to create a new role. Create a role. AWS service. Use case is EC2. I'm going to click on next. Here, what I'm doing is I would like to attach IAM full access. I'm going to create a new role called IAM full access. Just clicking on next. My IAM full access. This is the role I'm creating. I'm going to create a role. That's it. Hope you understood. I've created one more role. My IAM full access role I'm creating. You can go to the roles, click on roles, and you can see what are the roles you have created. Earlier you have created my S3 full access. Now you have created my IAM full access. This is the role you have created. What I'm doing is I'm going to EC2 service. Okay, I will attach this particular role to the EC2 machine. Instance is running. I have an instance running which is called my server 1. I am attaching this role to a server called my server 1. Apart from this server, I cannot able to access that IAM user cannot able to access any of the other things. Okay. So try to understand that I am having a server called my server 1 here. I'm selecting my server 1. I'm going to actions, security, modify IAM rule. Here I'm selecting a role called my IAM full access, update IAM role. That's it. Okay. This is the role I have created. Okay. This is the role I have attached to this particular server. I'm going to sign out. I am the root user. Okay. I have attached a role to this particular server. So now what happens? People whoever log in by using their IAM accounts, whoever is having access to that particular server, I'm signing now as a IAM user. Venkat, password. I'm in here. Select. I'm using this password. Yes, I just log in here as an IAM user. IAM user is having this particular IAM user is having EC2 full access. Only one server is running here, and a role is attached to this particular server. That's the reason why whenever he connects, okay, if he connects to this particular server, he can able to let me out. I'm closing this. I'm going to open the command prompt in the place where I have used keep. Okay. I got successfully connected. Okay, let me show you. Got successfully connected to this particular server, and I'm running one more command here. AWS IAM list hyphen users. Don't know whether this command is correct. Let me run. Yes, AWS IAM list hyphen users, list users, AWS IAM list users. This command did not work earlier, but now this command is working fine. It is displaying all the list of IAM users because we have attached one more role to this particular service, particular EC2 machine. I have attached one more role. Now, one more role, okay? Now the resources, okay, the people who can log into this particular server, who is having access to this particular server, they can able to access S3 and they can also able to access IAM command. They can run S3 commands, they can run IAM commands, and they can see if they want to create buckets, they can create. If they want to delete the buckets, they can create. If they want to create any IAM users, they can create. This is how actually we will attach roles to the machines. Okay, hope you understood how we are creating a role. We understood today's agenda is like we understood what is a role, and we also understood how can we attach roles to the services like EC2. Okay, we can attach, okay, we understood now how can we attach roles to the EC2 service or EC2 machine. So people who will be having access to this EC2 machine, they can able to access all the services which are attached as the roles. Any questions in understanding what is a role and attaching roles to the EC2 machine? Any questions, please? Okay.
No question.
Okay. If you don't have any questions, let's go to the load balancer. Okay. Let's understand the service. So in the IAM, okay, in the service called IAM, we have understood like how to create users, how can we provide access to the users, how can we create groups, how can we assign permissions. Permissions are nothing but policies. Try to understand. Policies are different. What is a role? If someone asks you what is a role, what do you say? A role is nothing but a combination of multiple policies. If you are creating a role, you can attach multiple policies for this role. Okay, if you are creating a role, you can attach multiple policies for this role. What is IAM role? IAM role is nothing but a combination of multiple permissions, attaching multiple permissions to a single name, so that that particular role can be attached to any of the services in the AWS. Okay, fine. So hope you understood what is a role and attaching roles to the EC2 machine. Then let's go for a new service called load balancer. Very, very important. Let's understand what is load balancer and what are the types of load balancers. Okay, to understand the concept of load balancer, I just wanted to, okay, it's very important to understand load balancer. I just wanted to give you some introduction regarding what is load balancer to understand the service in real time. Okay, let me show you. What is load balancer? So load balancer, the main objective of load balancer is like it accepts the incoming traffic from the clients and routes the request to the EC2 targets. Let's understand in a different way. Okay, I will show you I will explain you in a different way to understand it very clearly. So consider I I have some EC2 machines. Okay, I have some EC2 machines. This is one EC2 server, and this one is another EC2 server. And consider our application is running in this particular EC2 server. Okay, an application is running in this particular server. This is server one, and this is server two. In both the servers, our application is running. What do you mean by application is running? Why we call it as server? So consider this is a server because our application is running here. Usually server is nothing but a computer, but our server is a powerful computer with a highest configuration or something else. Okay. Server is nothing but some powerful computer which is having some highest configuration. We have a server and we have installed some application and application is running here. Usually what happens is, try to understand is this particular server can able to handle only a limited number of requests. Usually if an application is running here, people can directly access that application by sending requests, okay? So we will open the browser. When I open the browser and when I search with the address www.facebook.com, www. gmail.com, the request will goes to that particular server. If it is Gmail, it will go to the Gmail server. If it is Facebook, it will go to the Facebook server. All the requests. Okay. If I open a browser, if any, not only me, okay, if any users in the world, they'll try to access any website, www.google.com, gmail.com. Okay. So that the request will be directed to the server. The request will be directed to the server. Usually, if more number of requests, this particular server can able to handle only some limited number of requests. Okay. Assume that this particular server can able to handle only some 100. Assume this particular server can able to handle only 100 requests. But we have more than 100 users accessing this application. Okay, we have a server where some Gmail is installed, Gmail application is installed, otherwise Facebook application is installed. And there is a limitation to this server that only some 100 users can able to access. 100 users can send the requests. They can able to get the responses. Okay. But if we have more than some 100 users, if there are some more than 100 users, or if we have more than some 200 users, what happens? We need to keep one more server. We cannot put burden on the single server. If the server can able to handle only 100, and if I will be sending more requests than 100, what happens? The server will be crashed. If the server capacity is handling like 100 requests, and if we will be sending more than 100 requests, what happens? The server will be crashed. The application will goes down. That should not happen. So what I'm doing, the same copy of application I'm running in one more server. And assume that this server capacity is also having, this server will also handle only some 100 requests. This server cannot handle more than 100. So the servers we are taking can handle only 100 requests. Okay. Nothing more than that. Assume that this is an example. And another server, it can able to handle some 100 requests. So other users who are accessing the application, they can able to send requests to this particular server. They can access. So if you see here, if we are using more than multiples, if you are using more than one server or multiple servers, if we are having, usually we should have the load balancer. We should have a concept of load balancer. I don't understand. We should have the concept of load balancer. Why we need load balancer? What happens? Let's understand. We are using a load balancer. We are going to create one load balancer. Let's understand the purpose of load balancer. I'm taking a load balancer. Okay. I'm using a load balancer. And I will be attaching these EC2 servers to this load balancer. Consider we have server 1 and server 2. I'm attaching these two servers to the load balancer. I am attaching the servers to this load balancer. I have two servers, okay? Server 1 and server 2. And I am attaching both the servers, okay? I'm attaching both the servers to the load balancer. I'll show you what is load balancer and how we are going to attach the servers to the load balancer. What happens now if I attach these two servers to the load balancer, what happens? Whatever the request that is coming from outside, whatever the requests that are coming from outside, usually all the requests will be hitting the load balancer. Okay, load balancer is also a kind of service. It accepts the incoming traffic. Load balancer accepts the incoming traffic, whatever the traffic that comes from the outside. It accepts the incoming traffic and it routes the request to the servers. It diverts or it routes the request to the servers. And it routes some of the requests to the server 1. It routes some of the requests to the server 2. Entire thing will be taken care by the load balancer. Try to understand what is the task of the load balancer. Load balancer accepts the incoming traffic from the clients or from the users. It routes the request to the EC2 machines, or otherwise we can call them as target machines. Hope you understood what is the use of the load balancer. Load balancer is a service. If I attach a load balancer to these servers, if I use a load balancer concept, what actually the load balancer will do? Load balancer accepts the incoming traffic from the clients. It diverts the request to the servers. And there is one more task that the load balancer can do here. There is one more task that the load balancer can do. The one more task is load balancer can also monitor the health of the targets. It will continuously monitor. Load balancer will continuously monitor the health of the targets. What is target here? What is target here? The target is nothing but server 1 and server 2. The target machines are nothing but server 1 and server 2. These are the target machines. These are the target machines, right? If it is getting some load, okay, whenever it is getting some request, it is diverting the request to the server 1 and server 2. At the same time, it will also continuously monitor the health of the targets, the health of the server 1 and server 2. How the load balancer identifies how the load balancer identifies the health of the server 1 is good and the health of the server 2 is not good. How can it identify? Load balancer can understand that the health of the server 1 is fine, it is working fine or not based on sending some ping request. Load balancer will send a ping request to the server 1. To that ping request, server 1 must respond. Server 1 must respond to the load balancer within a time frame, within a certain time frame. If server 1 is not responding for the ping request, usually load balancer can understand that the server 1 is not working fine. Hope you understood. And what I'm saying is load balancer will do the two functionalities here. Load balancer accepts the incoming traffic and sends the traffic to the machines, target machines. Target machines are nothing but servers. At the same time, the second functionality of load balancer is load balancer will also continuously monitor the health of these servers. How it is going to monitor the health of the servers? Load balancer will continuously send the ping request for every certain time frame, for every some 5 minutes, for every 1 minute, for every 2 minutes that we need to configure. Load balancer will send some ping request to the server, to each server individually. That server should respond to the load balancer within a time frame. We should fix. So the server should give the response within 60 seconds or within 30 seconds. All these things we will configure. I will show you. If the server is not responding, load balancer will understand that the server is not working fine. Load balancer will treat the server as unhealthy. If the load balancer is not getting any response for the ping request, try to understand. If the load balancer doesn't get any response to the ping request that it sends to the server, then the load balancer treats that the server is unhealthy. Load balancer will stop sending the traffic to that particular server. If it treats server 1 is not good. Okay, if the load balancer treats that server 1 is not healthy, then it will stop sending traffic to the server 1. Load balancer will send traffic only to the server 2 because server 2 is healthy. These are the two functionalities that the load balancer can do. Any questions in understanding the basic idea of load balancer? What is load balancer? Load balancer will accept the incoming traffic and diverts the traffic to the servers. And at the same time, load balancer will also monitor the health of the targets. How it monitors? That's the question we have. How it monitors? Load balancer will send a ping request to the server and server should respond for the ping request. If the load balancer is getting response for the ping request, then load balancer understands the server is healthy. If the load balancer doesn't get any response, it will treat that server as unhealthy. Once it treats the server is unhealthy, once the load balancer treats the server is unhealthy, load balancer will not send any more traffic to that particular server. Load balancer doesn't send any traffic to that particular server. It won't route. Okay? Load balancer won't route any traffic to the server. What is the reason why load balancer won't divert? Because the server is unhealthy. Even if it routes the traffic to the unhealthy server, what happens? It won't process, right? It won't send responses. That's the reason why it won't send the traffic. Okay? This is the basic thing that I would like to tell you. Let us go to the practicals. Okay, let's go to the practicals. We have few things to do here. First of all, what we need to do is we need to create some target machines. Okay, let's create two servers. Okay, let's create two servers, server 1 and server 2. And let's install some application in it. Okay, let's install some application in it. To see the practicals of this particular thing, we need to have two servers. We will launch two servers. We will create two servers and make sure we install some application in server one. Same application. Okay, we are going to install same application in server one and server two. And let's understand. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm going back to the server. What I will do is server is running here. My server is running here. I'm going to terminate this. You know how to terminate. Okay, just click on terminate action. Go to the action. Just click on terminate so we can terminate the instance. Fine. Now I'm going to take two instances. Okay, to see the practicals of load balancer, what I'm doing is I'm going to take two. I'm going to launch two instances. First, I will launch instance one. So I'm going to name the I'm going to name the server as server one. Okay, let me give the name of the server as server one. AMI, I'm going with Amazon Linux. It is T2.micro. Keypair, yes, I'm selecting US East KP. VPC, all these things we will discuss later. For now, what I'm doing is I'm going for the same default settings which we were using earlier for creating the server. But one thing I am giving here, I'm going for advanced details. And under advanced details, we also have something like providing user data. If I want to install any application, I can provide some script here. You know what is bootstrap script? You know what is script and all? Maybe. What is scripting and all? So scripting is nothing but we will write some commands. We'll write some group of commands. Where we will write some set of commands and we will execute some set of commands at a time, which is called script. Okay. Writing some set of commands and executing those commands at a time is called script usually. So now I will explain you what is a bootstrap script. Okay, we'll explain you what is a bootstrap script. So usually when you launch an instance in EC2, we have an option called passing user data. Whenever you launch an instance in the Amazon EC2, you have an option called passing user data. I'll go to the advanced details. There I will find passing user data, all these things. And you can see here, this is the script I'm going to do. This is called bootstrap. So why the script is called as bootstrap script? So we are providing the script during the launch of the server itself. I'm launching the server. I'm not installing any script. I'm not running any script after launching the server. Try to understand. I'm not running the script after launching the server. I'm running the script during the launch of its server. During the launch. Whenever the server is being launched, at the same time, I'm going to run some script. Try to understand the purpose of the script here. Sudo su hyphen is mainly for changing into the root user. I'm updating the repository. Yum is the repository which is used for installing packages. Yum is the package manager. We're updating the yum package, yum repository. I'm going to install a package called HTTPD. I'm going to install a package called HTTPD. After installing HTTPD package, we will get some directory structure. Okay, we will be getting some directory structure. Under var folder, we'll be having www folder. Under www, we'll be having HTML page. Okay, we'll be going for this. Okay, we'll be going for this directory. This is also a directory. Okay, HTML is also a directory. So CD stands for change directory. CD stands for change directory. I'll be navigating to var directory. Under var, I'll be going to www. I'll be going to HTML directory. Okay, change directory to this particular path. Okay. So I'm saving this particular content. Echo. I would like to print my Google 1 or my Google 2, something. I am just giving my Google 1. I would like to print my Google 1 in the index.html. Index.html is the page I told you. This is the home page of the website. If you are launching any website, so if you want to, whatever the home page you want to see, okay, you need to provide the contents of that home page in the index.html page. So I'm going to print my Google 1, just a simple content. My Google 1 will be printed on the index.html page. I'm going to start the service called HTTPD. After that, I'm checking the configuration, whether HTTP is working fine. I'm just checking whether HTTP configuration is okay. Everything is running fine. I'm just validating this. So I'm going to run this script. Okay, try to understand. I will provide the script to you also. I'm copying this one. I'm going to provide the same script as it is. So you need to have this one hash bin bash, okay, so that it will understand that the script this is the script that you are providing. Okay. If you are providing some script, make sure that you should have some understanding. Okay. It has to understand that you are going to provide some script. So make sure that you are providing the script like this. I'm going down, I'm going to launch an instance. So what I'm doing, I'm simply launching an instance. And while launching the instance, I'm providing some script. What is the use of the script? I'm installing some HTTP package. I'm installing some HTTP package over there. This is the package I'm installing. And so that I can able to launch a sample website. Okay. What is the purpose of having this HTTP server? So I'm installing this HTTP package so that I can able to design some small website. So I'm going to have some small application which is running. The home page of it is like my Google One. It will display my Google One in the index.html page. Whenever I access, I will access this my Google One on the page. So for that, I'm running this. I'm using the script here. Let me show you after launching the instance. What I'm doing is I'm going to collect the public IP of this one. What is the public IP? You know, right? Every instance you are launching that will be having a public IP. This is the public IP. Select the public IP. Go to the browser. Paste it in the browser. So we can able to access with the help of public IP. We can access that HTTP, whatever the script that we have written, right? So we are going to access it by using the public IP. Why? Because we have installed that in the server. So now what I'm doing is we could not able to access it because maybe we need to open the firewalls. Maybe we need to open the firewalls. Let me show you. Let me open the firewall. How to open the firewall? Go to the instances, select the server, come down. You will be having a section called security. Go to security. Under security, you'll be having security groups. Under security groups, you'll be having inbound rules. Got it right? We are going to security. Let me show you. First, you will go to instances running. Click on server. Okay. You will be going to the section called security. Under security, you'll be going to security groups. Under security groups, you'll be having inbound rules. Edit the inbound rules. You can add one more rule. For now, what is the port that is open? Only SSH port is open. The port number is 22. We need to open some TCP. Okay, we need to open. Let me open HTTP. Port is 80. Okay, I'm going to save this. Okay, I'm going to open one more port. For now, I'm opening HTTP port. Okay, the port number is 80. I'm saving this. Let me run this now. If you are able to access this particular server or not, let's see. So usually what we have to see is we need to see the page called My Google One. Okay, we need to see the page called My Google One after some time. Okay, just now only we have enabled. Otherwise, for now, what we can do is let me open the all traffic for now. You know how to open all the ports. For now, I'm deleting this. Sorry, I'm not making any changes. Go to EC2 dashboard, go to instances running. This is the instance which is running. Okay, you need to go to the security. You need to go to the security. Under security, you will see the inbound security groups. Under security groups, you need to have inbound rules. Under inbound rules, okay, edit the inbound rules. Remove this HTTP, which is enabled. We are going to enable all traffic. I'm going to open all traffic anywhere IPv4. I'm saving the rule. I'm reloading it. You can see now. Okay, usually we can see now like whether we can able to access that particular server. We should see my Google One page. Okay, we should see my Google One page. We have EC2 dashboard, instances running. This is the instance which is running here. Maybe if you are not able to see, uh, there are some reasons. Okay. We need to check probably we need to see, we need to verify maybe the server which we have taken, the server configuration. Okay. The server configuration is like t2.micro, right? So maybe the server configuration is not sufficient, or what is happening. We need to find out the reasons. If you are not able to access the application, usually we should access the application by using the IP address. Not able to access this IP address. Let's see what's any questions you have. So we need to see, what I'm trying to show you is we need to see the output of this particular one. After running the script, actually, we need to see the output of this particular one. So you can also try. I will provide this particular script to you. Okay, let me ping you the script. You can also try this one. This is the script I'm giving you. Just have a try today. Understood, right? What I'm doing is I'm going to launch a server. I'm going to launch a server. So while launching the server, earlier I provided the name of the server as server 1. Now I'm providing the server name as server 2. Selecting Amazon Linux, EC2, okay, T2.micro. Let me take some T2 dot medium something. Okay, let me take T2.micro only. Key pair, I'm selecting US East KP. And at the advanced details, please go to the advanced details. Under advanced details, you will see user data. Okay, under user data, you need to provide the script over here. Okay, please provide the script over here. Supply. Okay, I have launched one more server. You know, right? How we are launching a server and how we are providing the script. Okay, after providing the script, you need to open the port numbers. For that, you need to go to the security. Under security, you will see security groups. Under security groups, you need to open edit inbound rules. For now, you can try with all traffic, meaning we are opening all the ports anywhere IPv4. I'm saving the rule. That's it. After doing this one, you can take the public IP of this public IP of the particular server. Where is the public IP? This is the public IP of the particular server. Select the public IP, go to the browser and try to access it. If you are able to access it, that is nothing but like we are able to access, okay? Nothing but like we are able to access the application. So maybe some issue is there in the script or the launch configuration, whatever the server configuration we are taking, maybe the server configuration is not sufficient. I will, I'll see. Okay, I'll try to verify what is happening, why we are not able to access this. Maybe something is wrong with the script, or otherwise something is some configuration issue is with the server. Okay. So whatever the configuration we are taking, T2.micro is not sufficient for running these things. Okay, that is fine. This is how actually we will launch the servers. You also try with the same script. We should able to access. We should see what we should see here as the output is my Google one page. And here also in the second server, we should see my Google 2. Modify the script while providing it. If you are providing in two different servers, in the server 1, provide it as my Google 1. In the server 2, provide it as my Google 2. So that we can see the difference. The response is from the server 1 or server 2. Okay, we can see the difference. So for now, the servers not responding. If T2.micro is not working, you can take some T2.medium instance and try it over there, whether it is working for you. Okay. So, okay, anyhow, let's see this tomorrow. Anyhow, we understood the basic idea of load balancer, what is the purpose of load balancer and all. The very first step to see the practicals of load balancer is like we need to take two servers and we need to make sure both the servers are up and running. Okay, we'll take two servers and we need to make sure whether both the servers are up and running. And then we'll create a load balancer. we will attach EC2 machines to the load balancer. Okay, we create a load balancer, we'll attach EC2 machines to the load balancer, and we will try to access the application by using load balancer URL. All these things we'll understand. Okay, in the same in the whatever the things I have explained in the diagram, you see, I am installing some application in server 1. I'm going to install the same application in server 2, and I'm going to attach these two servers to the load balancer. Then I will be providing load balancer URL access to the public. So public will access the load balancer URL, so that the load balancer will divert the traffic to the server 1 or server 2 based on the load or based on the requirement. Any questions you have in today's session? Otherwise, we will stop this for today. We'll be continuing tomorrow from here. The practicals of load balancer we'll discuss tomorrow. Any questions you have? Thank you. If you don't have any questions, thank you. Let's meet